All right, let's go.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, you're permitted to video record this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Challenges. What is the most difficult part of being a father?
So some background here about my current life situation is that my their mother and I are separated. We live in separate households, so I have them 50% of the time, and she has them 50% of the time. And so when I have them, it's on, full on kids. So, and it's just me. So the challenges are one, kind of balancing my life of full-time work, full-time PhD, and taking care of the kids, and making sure I'm able to do all of those things, which is quite a challenge.
Okay.
And being a single shop person, I'm trying to do all those things when they're there.
Okay. What is the hardest sacrifice you have had to make as a father? Or what is?
I think the biggest sacrifice is the lack of a social life when they're with me.
Okay.
Because when they're with me, it's not worth it to get a babysitter, because that's my time to see the kids. And so Sam's 6 and JJ's 5. I don't want to give them to someone else to take care of when they're my responsibility for that particular time.
Okay. Legacies. What type of legacy would you like to leave behind for your children?
Yeah. So I think about that in two different ways. One is, what are the values that we are helping to raise our kids with? So I want to make them or help them be raised into men who are responsible in the world and take that responsibility seriously. And the second thing I think about is the work that I do and helping to create the world that I want my kids to live in. And so I think kind of both of those pieces come together for that.
Okay. Identity. What does being a father mean to you?
It means the world. And what I mean by that is I take my job very seriously as a father, and it really is one of the pieces of my identity that I value most, because they're so important to me.
Has being a dad changed or matured you in any way? If so, how?
Yes, I think it kind of has to change you in certain ways. I'm much more of a patient person, but I also look at things, before I can see how very individualistic or individual I was looking at the world, and now much more very communal and understanding things from a community perspective. And so I think in those two ways, I think I have definitely changed and matured as a father.
Okay. What aspects of your life changed the most when you became a father?
I think it was that work-life balance, and the relationship that I had with their mom completely changed. Before, it was just the two of us, and then when we added kids onto it, in addition to work and schooling, that really stressed our relationship, and that's partially why we separated. So I think having the kids really altered that dynamic.
Oh, cool. Okay. What methods of parenting did your father use on you that you did not use on your own children?
Um, Probably the methods. Well, I think we are raising Sam and JJ differently than I was raised by my parents. We're using an idea of conscious discipline with them, and so I know that I am trying to be more naming my emotions more with my kids than my father did with me. And so allowing them to recognize and feel their emotions, rather than trying to suppress them.
Okay. How do mothers influence the type of fathers their sons will be?
Yeah, I think that's difficult to say, because I think I was more influenced by my father as in my parenting style than as my mother, although I have both of them in terms of that. My mom was a very logical, rational type of person, and so I feel like I am that way with my kids in many instances. Why would you do that? It's often a question.
Okay. So funny. Do you think it is a good idea for a father to be a coach of his son's or daughter's sports team?
I'd say yes, but only in certain circumstances if they're going to be able to. And I come from a sports-related family, and so my father was the coach of my team, and I don't feel like he treated me any differently than anyone else on my team. But I'll get you a good Facebook post that says something to the effect of the success of your child on a sports field is no way relational to your parenting. What is related to your parenting is how much effort they put in, how much they enjoy it, and what a good sportsmanship do they have. That's more related onto their parenting than the success of a child on a field.
Yeah. Just gonna move on to characteristics.
Sure.
What makes you different than a typical father?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned, I think I try to name emotions much more, but I really don't think that there's like a normal father or a typical father out there, in the sense that when I think of all of the roles that should be played by two parents or parents, one person typically can't serve all of those roles, but as long as all those roles are covered, I think that's what's most important. And whether that's by a neighbor or another family member or a teacher or something, as long as those roles are all covered by everybody, I think that's what's most important.
Okay. What qualities make up a good father?
The qualities that make up a good father, I would say, let's see, empathic and good at listening, engaged with their kids, wanting to be in their life, making decisions related to their lives, and taking that seriously. I think all those things probably make a good father.
Okay. Sex and gender. How do you intend to share the roles of being a parent with your, well, you already touched on that, but it's, let's see, the focus on different mothers. What do you think fathers contribute to children's lives that mothers don't?
Yeah. I think that, again, kind of going back to those roles thing, I think it's just as long as all those roles are taken into consideration, I think that's what's most important. But I think the role that fathers should be playing is an engaged, loving father. That's what the role should be.
I wanted to ask this question and I didn't. What do you think the most challenging conversations you will have with your children?
Probably around sex. I think it's probably the most challenging conversation that we'll have.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is family time? Oh.
Sex and probably death. Probably those two things.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is family time? As a father, would family time be important to you?
Yeah, family time is really important to me. We sit down and have dinner together every night. We read books together. And family time is any time where we're doing things together and it's not interrupted by TV or play. So that could be during play in terms of out there playing together on the soccer field or in the backyard or whatever, or it could be, playing a board game on the kitchen table or whatever. But as long as we're having that good quality time where they know that I'm there for them is what's most important.
And then I asked, what's the difference between the words father and daddy?
I really don't see too much of a difference between the two. I think if I was going to make a guess, right now my kids call me daddy, but I think it's because they can spell it versus, father. But daddy to me is much more relational in nature, and father is like, I'm the father of two boys, not I'm the daddy of two boys, right? So it's much more structural or systematic in nature.
Okay. And then I asked, As a father, would you discipline or raise your daughter differently from your son?
Yeah, I don't think that I would
Okay.
raise my daughter differently, and the reason I don't think I would raise my a daughter differently is I feel like I'm trying to play those roles and engage with my sons in the ways that I would with any of my kids if I had a daughter. So I really don't think I would be playing like I still show emotion, I still love them, and we snuggle together, and all those things that I would do with any of my kids, not just because they're a certain sex or gender.
Okay. What do you fear the most about instilling in your children?
Um, the ability to relate to others and value others. When we finish at the end of the day at daycare, I always ask JJ to go say thank you to his teachers, or when they're at swim lessons, that they're going to go up to their coaches and say thank you for practice, because I think that's something that's A, getting lost, and B, is really important as they relate to others in the world, is valuing those who are helping them through the world.
Okay, this is the last question.
Okay.
Do you feel unfairly judged by your community as a father?
No.
Okay.
I don't, and the reason I don't is because I feel like I'm an exception to what is the narrative of a single father.
Oh, okay.
I think the narrative of a single father is the disengaged, not available, not influential father. That's the narrative out there for a single father. For me, as a single father, I don't follow that narrative, and I feel like people are like, wow, you're such a good dad, because I'm a single dad and they know I'm a single dad. If I was just a dad in a relationship with the mother that was also in the same household, I don't think I would necessarily get the same reaction that I do when I'm a single father.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is that, as a single father, there aren't very many role models out there in the world who are like, that is a good single father out there in the world. Like, it's really difficult to think of like one person who even quote unquote represents the single father out there. And so I feel like I am breaking kind of this normal stereotype of what a single father is, or just a father in general is, because of my dedication and to my kids.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. If you do have any other questions, you can give me a call this weekend. I can be reached at 336-264-5950. So good luck on your paper.
Thank you.